The free Alias extension pack 2.0 has now been released. It contains 10 brand new Dynamo Player tools and 10 improved versions of scripts which have either been shipping with Alias or the extension pack 1.0. In addition to that, all tools, including the ones coming with Alias, have icons now.
Hi folks, I'm Gigi, and in this video I will give you a brief overview over what the new tools do and how they can be easily added to your current Alias installation with just a few clicks. Please note that this extension pack includes all scripts of extension pack 1, so if you weren't using that one yet, there's no need to get it. And if you are only interested in a specific part of this video, please check the video description for timestamps. With that being said, let's jump into it.
On the left side of the General tab of the Dynamo Toolbox, you will find the two car generator scripts, which have been presented by Michael Zimmermann in his AU Dynamo presentation in 2024. The numerous options of these scripts allow you to create all kinds of different car shapes. The result can be chosen to be of the type subdivision or Nurbs. All parameter types can be set in an absolute way or in a parametric way, so between 0 and 1, or the values can be taken from a given CSV file. You can choose from multiple predefined CSV files, but you can of course also define your own ones. The scripts also allow you to optionally display the parameters with which the car has been built. I will speak about the Dynamo code which allows you to do that later in this video. The second of the two car scripts allows you to optionally provide a curve to influence the shape of the two wheel arches. To do so, let's query edit a result of that script and select a user-defined curve. We must of course also activate the corresponding option so that the selected curve is taken into account. There are a few things you need to know about the requirements of such a curve though. The start of the curve needs to be above the axis of the front wheel. From this start, the parameter flow of the curve has to go to the end of the curve, where the end has to be under the bottom line of the car. The next new tool, the text-to-geometry tool, has also been created by Michael Zimmermann. It allows you to translate given text into surfaces. These text surfaces can be placed, scaled, and rotated any way you want. The main intent of this tool, though, is to demonstrate to people that Dynamo has these capabilities. I have encapsulated this code into a dynamo.dyf file, which you can find on the top level of your extracted zip file. Dynamo developers can copy this file into the definitions folder of their Dynamo preferences. You can find this path inside of Dynamo by going to Dynamo, Preferences, Package Settings, and checking the new package download paths there. Once you've done that, you should see a GG Custom Notes entry in your add-ons section of your library. Under that entry, there should be a text-to-geometry node which will allow you to easily create surfaces from text inside of Dynamo. These surfaces can then be sent to Alias using the usual Send to Alias node. The next three tools I'm going to show you use the same technology. So the new Measure Length tool allows you to select one or more surface edges and/or curves and measures and displays their length. You can control the amount of decimal places to be shown, as well as the text scaling or the rotation. Of course, this has history. So if you're extending a surface, this updates in real time and you have no annoying text message popped to confirm, which would otherwise show up if you're using a different technology to send the information from Dynamo to Alias. The Measure Area tool works in the same way. You can select one or more surfaces which are connected and form a solid topology. And the Measure Surface Area tool displays the area. And the unit being displayed here is the same you've set in the preference construction options as main unit, by the way. And here you can also control the text position to be in the min corner or in the center or in the max corner. And in the same way works the measuring volume tool, where you can select multiple surfaces which define a volume, and then the volume is being calculated. And of course, it updates when the volume changes. Another new tool on the General tab is the Curve on Edge tool. This one allows you to select a surface edge and to create a curve on that edge with the wanted length. You can also define a start point if you like to, from where the measuring should start, but that one is optional. You can also invert the direction if you want the curve measuring to start on the other side. And let's say we want to have a curve of a length of 250 millimeters. These kind of curves can be handy to serve as a snap target. So imagine you want to extrapolate the left side of this surface back to 250 millimeters, the length of the curve we just created. Then you can go to the Extend tool, select the surface, and then you can press the Control key to snap the left handle on that curve. And then you can see that now the left side of this surface has been accurately extrapolated back to 250 millimeters. Before we get to the last 3 new scripts, I'd like to show you some improvements I've done to the Manikin script. So as you might know, one of the later additions was to allow alignment geometry for certain body parts. So for example, I can accept this sphere here to orient the position of my head, but I also have, like, for all kind of other body parts selections, possible selections. So I need to click through all of them until I can finally hit the build button and get my Manikin with the aligned orientation of the head towards the sphere. So to avoid this empty clicking if you don't want them, there's another version of the Manikin now. It's called the Manikin S version, which is controlled beside the hip position solely by sliders. So you just have to accept the optional position, and then you can hit directly build to get that Manikin. Another option I have added is the base position. So now if you, for example, want to evaluate something around a car with the Manikin, you can start from the base sitting position to make it a little bit easier to orient your body parts starting from this setting. The last new tool on the General tab is the Bounding Box tool. This tool allows you to select any kind of geometry, and then it will create a bounding box covering the selected geometry with a minimum volume approach. It also by default gives you information about the height, width, length, and volume of the bounding box. If you don't want that, you can switch off this bounding box information. And also, if you don't want the bounding box to prioritize the minimum volume approach, you can also set the bounding box orientation to X, Y, and Z. And then the bounding box will be calculated aligned to your world coordinate system instead. The last 2 new tools of this extension package are on the Subdivision tab. One of them is the Subd Thicken tool. This basically works in a similar fashion as the Offset tool. So you're selecting a subdivision and then an offset is created, but also the side surfaces are created at the same point in time. And you can also optionally decide to crease your sides if you want to. The last new tool is the Skin tool. It allows you to select 2 input curves, and then it builds a skin surface in between. And you can also control the amount of spans you want to have for your skin. Even though there are several other tools which have seen minor improvements and bug fixes, I'd only like to point out this one tool on the General Edit tab, which is the Nurbs Morph by Curve tool. This tool now also supports multi-span curves to be modified, as well as Nurbs surfaces are supported now. So you're selecting those, you're selecting a static reference curve and then your driver curve. And now you can make very easy global modification to curves and or surfaces by just pulling very few CVs. So how can you get these additional Dynamo files? The easiest way is to go to Dynamo. And inside of Dynamo, go to the Packages section on the top. And here go to Package Manager. And then if it shouldn't be on top, then you can type in alias extension in the search bar. And then here you see the alias extension release. I actually made a mistake. I wanted to call it alias extension pack. And this is how I called it in the beginning of the video. But yeah, when I released, I chose by accident this other name. Anyway, so here you click on install, and then you're asked if you really want to install this version. And once you've done it, then these files will be installed under a path which you can find in the preferences. So Dynamo preferences, package settings, and here in the new package download path. So if you're going to this path, which you have found in your Dynamo preferences, there's the packages path, and here you'll find the folder alias extension release 2.0. And here you will find the folder structure. So this is the path which you need to activate in your alias preferences. So now in alias, go to the preferences, general preferences, and here go to file paths. And here you can set your Dynamo library location. So let's go to C, users, your username, app data, this may be hidden directory, roaming, Autodesk Alias, Dynamo Press 2026, 3.4 packages, and here we see the alias extension pack, and this folder is the one we are going to select. So this now requires a restart. And after the restart, you will see that you have all the additional tools with all the icons inside of your Dynamo toolbox. Another way to get the package is to go to dynamopackages.com and here click on the search button, and here in the search field enter alias extension, and then you will see the alias extension release 2.0. And here when you click onto the name, you can click on the download button here to download the package directly to your hard drive. And here when you get to your download section, you can either copy it somewhere on your hard drive or you can extract it here directly. So wherever you do it, the extracted directory is then the path you need to enter in your alias preferences, like in the part of the video I've shown you before.
I hope you found this video useful and that this Dynamo package provides value for your Alias workflows. If you should have any questions regarding Dynamo for Alias, or if you should be interested in Dynamo trainings or consulting, please feel free to reach out to me. My email address and website information can be found in the channel description. Thanks for your interest and stay curious.